Christian, back in the side, I mean, it's been a pretty whirlwind 2 weeks, and now you're back playing for the Vikings, yeah?
Yeah, man. Sort of had to travel a little bit to get some footy in, but yeah, it's been challenging, but enjoyable at the same time. Good to try different environments, but it's good to be back now, part of the NRC, and yeah, run around with the fellas on Saturday. Be good.
At fullback?
At this stage, yeah, I think I've been named at fullback. So we'll see how we go there. It's going to be. I didn't want to sort of slot in and try and, I guess, interrupt too much of what's been happening. So they got off to a good start last week with a good win, and yeah, hopefully I can add to that.
Have checkers say, listen, just keep playing, and in case there is an injury, and we'll see how you go.
Yeah, a little bit. I haven't spoken to him much since I guess he rang me about selection and that. So yeah, I guess obviously I think that's the obvious thing to do is to keep playing and stay fit and healthy and try and play some consistent and good footy.
Okay, so you're obviously in Japan for that, was it a World Barbarians team, and then you went over to London last week or the week before?
Yeah, last week.
Last week?
Yep.
Okay. So you obviously covered a lot of Ks. How are you feeling, I suppose, physically with the jet lag and stuff like that?
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah.
I guess being pretty experienced on travelling and stuff like that, you sort of get to manage it well and feeling pretty good. Obviously flying to Tokyo and then came back and had a week here and then off to London, which was, I guess, a bit of a shock to the body, but feeling pretty good and fresh and looking forward to running out with the boys on Saturday.
Okay, when did you actually get back into camp this week?
Tuesday morning, early Tuesday morning, and yeah, sort of had a couple of days now and feeling pretty good.
Okay, so obviously fullback would be easy for you just to slot back in. There's no thought of playing, fly half or inside centre? Or?
I don't think fullback would be easy. There's a lot of running there. Yeah. But yeah, I think I'll probably be the easiest transition. Obviously, they're running a similar place to what we ran in the Brumbies, so it's hopefully be a little bit seamless. But yeah, anyway, I can contribute. I'm pretty happy to try and add some value into what they've got so far.
You obviously learned to be playing fullback in the the John ITM Cup final.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, that was pretty tough, but enjoyable at the same time. They're all different challenges, and I guess that's something I've set myself is to try and I guess take on each challenge differently and improve my game in whatever way I can, whether it's playing fullback, 10 or 12. So yeah, just adding little bits to my game that I feel I can improve on and go from there.
When that final selection was made for the World Cup, I suppose how do you sort of handle that chat with Michael Checker, and I suppose looking forward there might still be an opportunity there if there are we don't hope it, but if there are injuries there to some players.
Yeah, obviously it's always tough and disappointing, and will always hurt. But I guess I handled it pretty positively and as positively as I could to just move forward, find ways to get better and keep at it. I think that's a long tournament. They sort of spoke about that, and yeah, I guess an injury away, which is an unfortunate way to probably get in. But all I can do is control what I can, and that's playing as much footy as I can and playing good footy.
Aside from the club final, how long's it been since you played fullback at this sort of level?
Yeah, the club final was sort of, maybe
a little while.
It would have been Super Rugby, yeah, a while ago in 2011 maybe. So yeah, it's something that I find as a challenge again, and yeah, look to add whatever I can in that with using my experience and whatnot.
You guys started really strongly last week, and you talk about playing similar sort of patterns to the Brumbies and all that. Has there been a bit of a focus of the Vikings this year, starting strongly, knowing how that sort of let you down a little bit last year?
Yeah, I think so. I think just some of the chat that they've had and speaking to some of the boys already, they're keen to get off to a good start, and they've done that, and they're still this weekend to try and keep moving forward and improving. Obviously, they were happy with the win, and there's still plenty for them to work on, they feel, and I just want to add to that, and hopefully we can improve together.
And there's no easy games. Obviously, we're seeing North Harbour beating Perth last week in Perth, so these first couple of games you're really important. You can set up your season essentially in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the importance of it, and they've marked the early games down as key ways to set up the season, and every game is pretty tough, and they're focused on that, and all they can do is focus on what's ahead of us, and that's the Rams this Saturday afternoon at the Viking Park, which is going to be exciting.
How crucial do you see the NRC, I suppose, looking forward to the Super Rugby season next year as a bit of a stepping stone or platform for that?
Yeah, I think it's really important. Obviously, hence why they've brought this tournament in to bridge that gap between club rugby and Super Rugby. Some beautiful talent running around in Australian rugby at the moment, and it's just a good avenue for guys to try and bridge that gap, I guess.
You'd be one of the few that have actually experienced NRC and ITM Cup, albeit a few years ago.
Yep.
How do they sort of compare, albeit after one season in the game of NRC?
Yeah, I guess it's tough to compare. I think the ITM Cup's been around a long time, and they're well established in what they're running in their program, and they've got a lot of depth in New Zealand. So it's I guess we're taking the right steps, and it is still a learning curve for Australian rugby to try and build a successful tournament. You know, and I think
in terms of playing style, though, it's fairly similar.
Yeah, pretty similar. I think really.
Back in talents, having a bit of a crack.
Yeah, exactly. I think in that regard, it's really similar. It's only thing, I guess, young talent and new talent, which is always good, and the playing style is always pretty quick.
Have you played much with the Vikings last year, Christian, in the NRC?
Yeah, I had a few games sort of similar, being on the fringe of the Wallabies.
Yeah.
I had maybe 3 or 4 Vikings games.
4 or 5,
yeah.
Okay, obviously, speaking of Frankie Fanafel in a minute as well, obviously, you play with him at the Brumbies. Must be good to see him back, around the places and around the traps.
Yeah, really exciting to see him back. I never thought I'd sort of get an opportunity to run around with Frankie again after he moved overseas, but he's been fantastic since he's been back around not only the Waika's Tuggeranong group, but this group as well. He's obviously got experience and leadership, which is crucial in any side, and brings a really good energy as well. So I'm really excited to have him back. He's been really good.
When you've got so many young guys, especially in club football, it must be great to have someone like that who's played obviously the last few years over in France, and he's played for the Brumbies for many years as well.
Yeah, obviously I guess young guys can only learn, and take a bit out of what he's experienced. And he's pretty good at that. I was vocally really good with a lot of the group, and can only get better.
Who was sort of in the Barbarians team that you had last week over in London?
There was a few. There's, I guess, Bucky's brother, Adam Thompson, Pierce Spees. I guess some of the Aussies, Ben Tapuai.
Pretty quality side then.
Yeah, it was really good. Got a yellow card for getting punched in the head. There was a lot of quality players there, which was the exciting thing and the humbling thing about playing with those guys. Guys you never play in legends of the game. Carl Heyman was one that I got to play with. It was fantastic.
Pull the autograph book out after the game.
Nah. I actually worked with Carlos Spencer as well, which was pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah, to work with guys like that you never thought you'd work with was pretty awesome.